Hey everyone, it is Irene Lyon here, and welcome to this entire world of nervous system health and healing. Today I want to highlight a topic that is very broad and very big, and I definitely cannot cover all the threads and themes in a under 10-minute video. So my goal is to do this under 10 minutes. And what I hope you realize and understand is that what I'm going to share in this video, where I talk about nervous system regulation and what that means, will invite you to dive deeper into my work, dive deeper into this channel through my YouTube videos, through my site, through my articles, through my free resources, through my classes, through my courses, through my programs, through the dozens and dozens of Q&As that I've done where I answer questions. And the reason why this is important to me, that you realize this is not something that you can learn all in 10 minutes. It's important for me to convey that because I want to make sure that you understand that when we do work towards nervous system regulation and growing somatic capacity, that we create a different way of living. Our lifestyle becomes different. And really, in many ways, we have to choose each day, each moment, each minute, how we interact with ourselves and the environment. And inevitably, over time, of course, with education and tools and skills, we start to grow our nervous system regulation. Now, one thing often people will say is, well, Irene, isn't it just the screwed up world that's creating all this toxicity and trauma? And I could say, yes, that is accurate. And then someone might say, well, what if we just bring ourselves into the natural environment and community and with healing practices and good food and good air, won't we just naturally, organically, spontaneously restore nervous system regulation? And my answer is probably not. I did a talk with my husband and colleague Seth a little while ago. We'll probably rerun it soon. It might have come before or after this video, where we talk about why meditating and cold plunging in paradise will not heal your trauma. So be sure to check that one out if you haven't already. The reason why it is not enough to just go into nature and organically shape shift, and heal without outside help is a lot of our, we could say, problems, a lot of our dysregulations, a lot of our phobias, a lot of our anxieties. I say that quote unquote, because for me, anxiety is stored survival stress. Our depressions, our behaviors that are not helpful for us or those around us. Our system doesn't want these things. And yet society, domestication of plants and animals, this is like, tens of thousands of years in the making, agriculture, industry, tech, being in this unnatural environment, and then of course having a humanity that doesn't all agree on the same ways of raising children and little humans, we have a bit of an issue. And so I'm here to say there is a way to raise a human, very similar to how we would treat a baby cub or a baby pup. In the animal kingdom, nurture, love, connection, feeding them, teaching them right from wrong, teaching them the ropes, the skills of being in the world. Humans need that. But then we have this higher brain that is so bloody complex, and we need to teach that human communication, reading, writing, all the things we've created, right? We've created those things through our higher intelligence. Where that came from is up for debate, but we have this double situation going on here in the human, where we have this higher brain, super duper complex, and then we have this mammalian biology that really needs solid, secure attachment growing up, regulation, and the ability to explore, be curious, play, develop, learn, make mistakes, not be abused and toxically shamed when we get something wrong. So all these things. So when we start on this process of healing our somatic physiology, our nervous system, our relationship to self, our relationship to the environment, our relationship to other people. We have to really look at it. We have to step back and see it as this complex ecosystem. And just like if you were to take a piece of monocropped land, I've talked about this in the past before, we'll link that video near here. Monocropped land with terrible soil chemistry, no life in the soil. We want to turn it into a regenerative agriculture haven where there's animals and bugs and all the things so that it's self-sustaining. That doesn't happen overnight. It can take decades to develop that. I'm not saying it's going to take decades for you to restore regulation to your nervous system, but it's going to take more than a couple of weeks. It's probably going to take more than a year or two. I don't say this to scare you. I say this because when we do approach the human system from a holistic, regenerative, mass ecosystem kind of way, when we lay down the foundations and really put in place the building blocks that maybe we didn't get when we were young, that maybe our parents didn't get when they were young, and so on into the future, we build this foundation that is rock solid. And yes, we will experience stress. Yes, we will experience pain and loss and all those things, but we will bounce back because we have a true, what we might call window of tolerance that is used in the trauma worlds. We have real resiliency where we can go into a stressful response, feel the intensity, feel the survival stress, but it doesn't throw us into dysregulation where our gut goes off, our immune system goes off, our fear responses go off. That's what we want. And so one could say the goal is solid regulation, so we have this window of tolerance. Now, of course, to get to that takes time. And for so many of us, we have been living in a false, what we would call it, a false window of tolerance, or as my mentors would say, a faux, to borrow from the French, faux window of tolerance. And when we're living in a false window of tolerance, we might not even realize that what we're doing on a day-to-day basis is completely in override. We are doing it with all cylinders running, and we don't realize how darn stressed we are. Or we don't realize that we're completely detached and disconnected from our body or from the world. And then that poses a problem because we don't have any alarm bells that go off that say danger, or you should probably pause, or don't eat that food, or whatever it might be. Our window of tolerance is fake, essentially, and it's got us this far. So thank goodness we have that capacity. But what we want to do is we start to regulate and learn and relearn and restore more foundation and capacity to the system as we start to realize that the things that used to work for us don't work so much anymore. And so that's where then we have to put our higher brain consciousness cap on and make a choice point to say, I think I need to go this direction so that I'm not putting myself back into more survival stress. Now, with that, there is a flutter of potentiality, which could be good or difficult, depending on if we're in a relationship, we're in a job that we don't like, we're living somewhere that isn't conducive to us taking better care of ourselves, all the things. Lots of potentials there. But the key is, can you pause long enough to realize, I need to make a different choice because I want to restore regulation to my nervous system. I want to restore capacity. I want to get out of this fake window of tolerance and into a true window of tolerance that is blooming with nervous system regulation, just like that regenerative agricultural example I just gave. And the thing is yes, it takes a little more time to get to that, but when that system is set the way really our DNA wants, everyone has the birthright and the capacity to have that regulation from day, conception. And then of course, the environment that we were born into, that we were cooked in, if you want to say that, when we were being carried by our mother, that maybe didn't give us what we needed. And so as adults, and I always say this to my students and more advanced students, as adults, we are choosing to do this work and to actually reinvigorate that birthright that was never there in the first place. And I hope for those of you here wanting to learn via me, via this work, that you do want to reinvigorate that birthright and restore nervous system regulation to your system so that you can have this huge window of tolerance, huge capacity to do the things you want to do. Now, again, going back to kind of the general thesis of this, which is this is a process, this is a lifestyle, this is a learning. To me, it's less about emotional release and trauma release. Those come with this education, those come with this process of relearning. And from what I see as I work deeply with my, again, students and alumni, is when we give the system what it wants and what it was designed to thrive on, right? So when we give the system what it was designed to thrive on, this capacity, being able to be with sensations in a neutral way, feeling all emotions, bringing movement into our body, bringing health into our environment, all these things, the ability to process the fight, the flight, the flee, the fear, the terror, the toxic shame, the grief, the loss, all the things that us humans live with and often hide from and never process in a lifetime, that stuff just becomes almost second nature, just like riding a bike. And the reason why it is like riding a bike, to bring in another metaphor, is because it's in our birthright to have this regulation, to have this secure attachment with ourselves and with others. Now, again, if you're so new here and you're like, oh my gosh, I can't even imagine having that birthright back, I get it, right? When you've been grooved into a pattern, a conditioned way of living with all the things of dysregulation and the syndromes and symptoms that come with it, whether it's physical or mental or social, it might seem insurmountable to tackle this mountain, to bring in another analogy, but it's possible. We can move mountains with our system, with our biology internally, but just like any person who climbs mountains, you can't always do it in one day. You have to gradually build up your capacity, your foundation. You have to learn the skills, literally the roping skills and all these skills to summit, to take care of yourself, to know when to stop, when to go, when to pause, when to navigate the weather, all these sorts of things. So with that said, if you are here and you are new, thank you for being here. I really encourage you to check out our site, our page that says new here. If you're new, we outline sort of where to start. If you're still not sure, send us an email. Please be in contact with us, support@ireneline.com, or if you're watching this on YouTube, under YouTube, there are comments. My team are in there multiple times a week answering questions. Please ask, do not be shy. There is no such thing as a dumb question. I want everyone here who are here, you're here for a reason, to go deeper, to dive deeper into this work. When we get nervous system regulation on board, while it is not always an easy journey, it allows the system to find that healing and health that, again, like I said, is our birthright. We have just come so far away from understanding what it might be to be healthy and whole and vital. And I think we need this right now here on planet Earth. So thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. Thank you for pressing play. Thank you for going over to my site and diving in. And even if it's just one thing you do today, that's a start. And then, of course, do not be shy. Ask us questions. Thank you for being here, and we will see you next time. Hey, it's Irene. Quick note before you go. I want to make sure you know about my upcoming enrollment to my 12-week online curriculum called Smart Body, Smart Mind. I will say that one more time. Smart Body, Smart Mind. This is my online nervous system rewire and regulation program that my team and I have been running for many years. This will be the 13th time we have run this powerful online curriculum with people all around the world. So I want to make sure you know about the upcoming registration that will be mid-February for a short period of time, and we will start the live session end of February 2023. It's a 3-month curriculum, and it is life changing. So if you would like to do the work with me, and this is exactly where we do the work, deeper theory, practices, teaching with me live, Q&A sessions with my expert colleagues, this is what you want to do. I want you to learn about it now so you have plenty of time to ask questions and make a non-survival based decision on joining this year. Somewhere near this video will be a link to that information page. Be sure to check that out and ask questions. If you have any questions, you can post one below this video or send us an email, support@irenelyne.com.